I sure can pick the best days to come out to my winter camp, can't I? I'm almost at my trail cam. I'm testing out my new homemade crampons called Wolf Tracks. Thanks to Dan for the name. Nothing too exciting on my trail cam. A couple of rabbits, but I decided to move it back to its original spot. It's not having much luck lately. So I'm going to clear the memory card, reset it, and head to winter camp. I'm also taking back my tinder bag. It's all full of birch bark. So as I make my way to winter camp, I put together a few clips for you guys to watch. Two days ago it was minus 38 wind chill. Yesterday it was raining. Today, blizzard. Well guys, it's a pretty miserable day out there. Just cleared the air intake on my stove. I cut a little stump just for doing kindling inside my shelter. I brought out a rolling pin just because we were throwing it away, my sewing kit, and some pancake mix. It's always good to have some supplies in case I get stranded out here. I think it's going to be an inside day today. See how it goes. So I'm going to cut up some kindling and get a fire going and test this out. One thing a good camp should have is a good pile of kindling of different sizes. This way, if you ever arrive and your hands are frozen or you're in an emergency situation, you have wood that's ready to go. And I also have my big bag of birch bark. What I'm doing right now is just taking an inventory of all the supplies I have. Food, tools, rope, stuff like that. I want this camp to be as self-reliant as possible. Plus I'm preparing for overnighter as well. I know it must get boring to watch sometimes, but collecting, cutting, and splitting firewood is a job that never ends at camp. Today's been a pretty typical day here at winter camp, and I'm getting a good idea on how well these wolf tracks are doing. A couple of minor things. This tab here is a bit too short. I would have made it longer, but I only had so much steel. So I think I'm going to bolt on a longer piece here, because I notice it wants to kind of slip off when you're going downhill sideways. Just this one side. And the teeth I might actually make a bit more pointier, so they bite more. Other than that, they've been pretty good. You got to be careful walking through brush. They want to get snagged and can trip you. Before I cut up this onion, I just wanted to tell you guys, if you take these onion skins and put it in really hot water, then strain it, put a bit of honey in there, makes a good tea. It's really good for you as well. Got some oyster mushrooms here as well. Today's lunch is a beef sirloin steak. Well guys, I can't wait any longer. I gotta crack this beer. Alright guys, sitting warming by the fire, almost ready to go, and I thought I'd share one more story with you. Back in 2003, it was a typical winter's morning in Alberta, snowing and blowing, minus 30. I was up at 4:30 a.m. getting ready for work. I went out about 1:45, started my car, and about 5 o'clock I left the house. I got up to the main road, and my windows were still frosted up, so I meant to put down the side window a little bit so I could see. But my windows were frozen. I had power windows, and they didn't budge, not even a little bit. So I drove to work, and by the time I got to work, my car started warming up a little bit. Pulled into the driveway, the parking lot, shut my door, and worked outside in that miserable weather all day long. About 4:15, I decided I'd go start my car. As I was coming around to the driver's side, I could see my window was open about an inch, maybe an inch and a half. And I was kind of wondering how that happened, and then I thought, oh, probably in the morning when my window was frozen, I tried to go down with the power window. It wouldn't open, and by the time I got to work, my car was warming up. I shut my door, and it must have popped open. Of course, I didn't see this because it was pitch black. And I opened up my door, and I had a snow drift inside my car. It went from the driver's side all the way to the passenger side, probably over 8 inches deep. And it wasn't just some snow, it was an actual snow drift. Just the way the wind was blowing in that little crack. And I had snow all over the floor, across the seat. And it was just a miserable time, to clean all that out. Then start my car and then drive home in that mess. I think it's time to head out. I want to make it home before dark, and I have lots of work to do at home as well. I think I'm all prepared for my overnighter, and probably my next video will be that. So I'll see you guys next time.